you want to speak to anybody that's still around and network, you're welcome to after that. It's very casual, and most of our groups that are here. But the number one thing is, if you come to the meetup, we don't want you to leave without asking. That's the number one thing. Typically, it's 1/3 brand new people. So either they've never done anything about business, or they're getting their feet wet, and they're very well, a lot of this stuff may go over their head if you're not being intimidated by that. Every single one of us was actually more experienced starting, and it's this group started with 7 or so, and there was like 6 of us. And when that first happened, same thing. You start to absorb it, you just keep coming back, and you start to learn it. But the thing is, ask questions. That's the one thing you want to make sure. One reason why this group has actually done so well for so many that have actually been are sharing knowledge is because they've been such a deal. So I really encourage you, if you have questions, don't be afraid to ask. Raise your hand. If we cannot answer the question adequately, let me know, and I will do research and find the answer that I can hopefully give that will be adequate enough. Usually the other third of the group is intermediate. That means they've started, they're getting their feet wet as far as they're doing things, but they're stuck, and that happens a lot at that phase. So that's the point. Especially the phase you really want to ask questions, because you have a little bit of vocabulary built in now. You can understand things, and your knowledge can accelerate a lot faster than. And the last third. No matter how much we think we know every time we leave, we've learned something small, even a little bit more. The internet marketing business niche is huge. It's kind of like real estate too. The thing about real estate, there's rental markets, there's flipping, there's refurbishing, there's selling, there's buying. There's so many aspects of actually real estate that you can even think of, that a lot of people think, well, real estate is just buying and selling homes. There's a lot more to it than that. If you niche down into foreclosures and different types of things. The same thing goes with the internet business, but it's even there's so many eBay. There's just selling your own stuff online. There's even selling stuff. There's no or some of the sites that my wife and I have a website up that has downloadable free information worksheets and stuff, and we make money off revenue for 5 years now. My wife just hit a $20,000 revenue mark, which she's super excited about, and I'm closing in on $50,000. And if we've not touched these sites for probably about 5 years, just keep generating revenues. Spend about probably okay, let's see what it does. For those of you who don't know the story, 4 months after I put up the website, I made a penny. You would have thought I won the lottery.
Test.
4 months prior to me building that website, she wanted to kill me. I mean, 3 months in, I'm building it. And the 4th month, I was really done. And then, look, it works. So anyway, that's how it all began. And when I entered the group, I was making about $200 a month. I picked up a few hints and tips from a couple of the group members that were telling me how I should do it. And there's a lot of things I never did that I should have done, which I'm doing 5 years later or 6 years now. I'm starting to really build it out. But those things, within a few months, I quadrupled my income to $800 a month. And then there was $1,000 months that were coming in. And like I said, we didn't touch the websites after that. Hardly anything was done. So there's a lot of opportunities on the internet. But the thing is, you've got to ask questions. And the reason why I started coming is because I wanted to start a group, because nobody else was doing it. And then I happened to find it the same week that was starting in this area. And there was an expert that was actually putting it together. He got famous, so he got too busy. He couldn't run it anymore. So we have some other guys that decided they would help me out in making sure that we could answer questions. But he also has some fantastic content that he wants to do. But I was introduced to him through Kirk, and I asked Kirk if he wouldn't mind doing the introduction, since he knows Casey a lot better than I do. Kirk, would you mind doing an introduction of?
Sure. Casey. Yeah. So I met Casey about a year ago. A little over a year ago. I went to an event in Las Vegas, and they were trying to sell us stuff, and the event was okay, but the MC was fantastic, and that was Casey. Casey speaks in front of all kinds of different, he's a great MC, he's a speaker, he speaks around the world. He was one of the main MCs at the Traffic and Conversion, the event that I talked to everybody about a couple months ago. And so we joined his mastermind, and he's just a fantastic inspiration. I don't think there's ever been a time where I asked him a question where I didn't come back inspired. So that being said, he was a shy guy that was introducing himself all around to everybody today. So Casey Eberhardt.
Well, thank you, Kurt. Thank you, Chris and Steve, for having me. You guys having fun so far? You haven't really done anything yet. This is not live, or is this live for a recording? Is that what's happening? Oh, okay, cool. I know it's not gorgeous, but we're gonna have some fun anyway. So, you guys, I'm super excited to be here. My name is Casey Eberhardt, and I speak and train around the world on a variety of different topics: entrepreneurialism, social media, internet marketing, offline marketing, video traffic, all these kind of different topics. And so there's a lot of new people that are ready to rock and roll on the internet, right? Yeah. So let's just get quickly show of hands again. Who has made money on the internet? Not spent it, but made it. Okay, most of us. Okay, awesome. One of the things that I think is really, how are you? I didn't even see you. Awesome, welcome. It's so nice. This is one of those really cool things where I've got several in the audience, but all from completely different areas. And now I'm like sweating because now I'm like going, oh, they don't know that they know each other, or I know them all. It's all very nerve-wracking, which is kind of cool. So what I wanted to talk about tonight is just some general concepts that I think can help you build whatever business you're in. I'm a pretty generic guy in terms of I can get down in the weeds and nitty gritty, but it's really, really, really important that you walk away tonight with something that you can implement in whatever business you're in, whether it's an online business, an offline business, a graphic artist department. We got luggage being sold in here. We've got vintage motorcycle parts in here. We have all kinds of stuff in here. So I want to just start off by saying a couple of ground rules for tonight, if we can. First off, the internet is a very interesting place, and it is very secretive on some level, and it's also very open on some level. Does that make sense? So tonight, I want to just make sure that I honor where you are in your business. So if I ask you what your product is, you are not going to offend me by telling me that you are not going to tell me your product. Okay, I am happy to talk about the products I sell on the internet because most of them are very valuable educational lessons, which means I lost a lot of money. So I am happy to talk about them as much as possible. It recoups my education, right? So do not feel bad if you do not want to share your product. It is not a big deal. We will all honor that. The reason, if you're new and you go, well, why is he saying this right now? The reason is because, especially for those of us that sell on Amazon, which is the big behemoth, obviously, competition is super fierce. So people get all weird about saying their product. So let's totally understand. You want to tell us your product? I'm joking. Oh, Jesus Christ. So I'm happy to talk about our products that we sell on Amazon because you won't want to sell them anyways, but they're good educational lessons. That's number one. Number two, there's going to be a bunch of conversations that happen. Conversation I have with you, conversation that you have with me, because I do not want to just do all the talking. I hear myself talk all day long. So this is very interactive. So there's going to be a conversation that you have with me. There's also going to probably be conversation that you have with each other, right? When we leave here, you're going to be talking to each other. You might be looking at, your neighbor going, who is this guy? I don't like him. He's good looking. He's hideous. Look at his shoes. Where do you get those shoes? Whatever you want, right? I'm just excited about shoes because on Saturday, I go speak at the International Shoe Retailers Association out in Scottsdale. So yeah, it's going to be fun. And then there's going to be the conversation I think that you have with yourself. Right? And that conversation is going to be, what he's saying makes sense, what he's saying doesn't make sense, I don't agree with him, or I agree with him, or whatever. And you're going to have lots of different judgments. And some stuff I might say tonight, not going to be applicable. Some stuff will totally be applicable, right? That's the conversation that just until about 8:35, I want you to turn the volume down on, right? Just spend tonight just kind of absorbing, looking around. You're here at the lovely, gorgeous Barnes & Noble. Go buy a book when you're done. If you don't learn anything from me, that's fantastic. We got an entire array of education that you can walk home with tonight for just merely a few bucks, okay? So, conversations, great. I want lots of feedback, because if we go through something and it doesn't make sense, what happens a lot of times when you go, and especially newer folks, what happens is you go and you hear a speaker, or you go to someplace, you hear somebody talking, and we were saying this at dinner, that a lot of us speakers that speak on big platforms where we speak for an hour and then we ask you for 10 grand, right? The way we do that is we start over here and we open all these loops and we ask all kinds of questions. And then you sit there for an hour and you go, I wish he'd just answer the question. I wish he'd answer the question. And then you know how we answer the question? Buy our program for 10 grand and we'll tell you exactly how we answer all those questions. Tonight, the most amount of money I am going to ask you to invest tonight is $47 maximum. Okay, so because of that, I don't want you to think that there's nothing, I don't want you to think you have to buy anything. This is about you guys getting education more than it is me trying to make a bunch of money, or these guys trying to make a bunch of money, right? They're here to serve the community and have everybody learn and build a big community, a tribe of people, which is what we're going to talk about. Any questions so far? Is there anything you guys want to learn straight off the bat? How to get customers? Oh, why do we need customers, right? To make money. Okay, so Teresa, with the cued question, she's got a cue card over there, right? When I go like this, that means she asked a question. No. So look, customers are the lifeblood of every business. Okay, I mean, they just really are. And some people will say leads are the lifeblood of a business. That's true. Without leads, it's kind of hard to get some customers, theoretically, right? So let's start with just a couple of premises. This is not applicable for every internet business or every offline business, but it's a good framework, okay? And there's three kind of pieces to the recipe. Number one, you got to build a tribe, okay? You got to build a group of people that are in the space to buy your product, good, or service. Or at least have the conversation about it, right? Can I use your product? Just because I think it's okay. So he sells vintage motorcycle parts online, right? Not only do I not understand motorcycles, I'm an anti-motorcycle guy, right? I'm probably not going to be the best person to be in his tribe. Does that make sense? But would it make sense if he had me in a different tribe, and we'll call that tribe influencers? Probably, because then he could leverage me to help get in front of an audience, right? Because Rusty is a motorcycle rider, right? And he actually fixes motorcycles and breaks them down and builds them from scratch and all of that jazz. And he's probably not a new motorcycle rider. You're an old motorcycle rider, right? Not. Yes, you are. I know your birthday. Right? But he would be a great person for you to know, because he's an influential guy in LA and he rides motorcycles and he knows how to fix them and he's a mechanic on them, right? So I might not be the best person to try, but I know Rusty, and Rusty is a good person. That actually just worked out completely perfectly. I couldn't have planned that any better, quite frankly. It was awesome. And I'm not making that up. That's actually true, right? So we want to build a tribe, right? Number two, now this tribe, by the way, some people will call this a list, right? You hear the thing, the money's in the list. What I'm going to ask you to do is understand that when for me, language is so very valuable and important, right? So you're not going to hear me use words like target somebody, right? I don't want to be targeted, but I do want you to talk to me as a customer, right? So build a tribe or build a list or build a community group, whatever you want to call that, right? Number two, we got to engage the tribe. Wow. We want to engage the tribe, right? So in this case, what we want to do is, tell me your first name again. What is it? Mikhail. So Mikhail's going to build a tribe of people that are into motorcycles, find a group of people that are into motorcycles, maybe some marketing of some kind. He's got to talk to them. Hey guys, we're running a special on, the only thing I know less about than motorcycles is sports. So I don't even know what parts there are on a motorcycle, but let's say you're going to talk about exhaust pipes, right? So you might talk to the tribe or talk to the group all about motorcycle parts and exhaust pipes and all that kind of jazz. And ultimately, a few people, if you talk to them and you find out that they have a problem, hey, how are you? Number 3 is then and only then can you market to the tribe. Does that make sense? So that in everything that we do, what we want to be able to do is we should be able to put every activity due into one of these 3 buckets. Okay, now, some people build a tribe using PPC. PPC, by the way, if I use an acronym and you don't know what it stands for, please just raise your hand and tell me. And if I don't know, I will totally make it up. But PPC is pay-per-click. So you see it on Google AdWords, you can do YouTube ads, those kind of things. So you can build a tribe by putting your message in front of a vein of customers or where you think they're going to be. Does that make sense? Okay. Engaging the tribe, then it's all about talking to them. And this is, I think, where most businesses lose. If they don't talk to their customers, they don't find out about their customers, they don't want to know what makes them tick. What is something that a motorcycle rider is interested in? Maybe they're interested in safety, maybe they're interested in adventure, maybe they're interested in travel, maybe they're interested in all kinds of different things that we wouldn't know unless we started talking to them and asking them. Does that make sense? Once we start asking them about what they're into, what they're not into, then we can actually say, hey, look, I've got this ebook. If you'd like to download this 25-point checklist on how to make your motorcycle go 3 miles an hour faster, whatever. I don't know what you try to do with a motorcycle, and I'm on a whole motorcycle tangent that I know nothing about. But then we can start solving their problems. Does that make sense? Any questions so far? Okay. Now, you all have this, right? You know what I didn't bring? An eraser. Did you use this?
Slightly.
Yeah. That's an eBay seller right there. Slightly used, gently loved. By the way, you know, as marketers, we ruin everything. I mean, we can literally sell a used Kleenex by saying slightly used with love, right? That was good. Biologically enhanced. I love that. It's yeah. Okay. So one of the things that I did is I started asking audiences all the time. I started asking people one simple question. Okay. Now, just out of curiosity, how many people, well, you all know if you know me or not. If you know me and you've heard me ask this before, I don't want you to answer. If you've never heard me ask this, I want you to answer me with the first word that comes to mind. Okay? So I'm going to ask a question, and I just want you to give me your first feedback answer back. Fair enough? Okay? Who is the most powerful woman in the world? Wonder Woman? Oprah? Who else? Queen Elizabeth? Okay. Who else? Oh, that's a good one. I actually never heard that one before, but that's a good one. That is a good one. Who else? My wife? Thank you. Who else? Your 4 sisters? Okay, cool. So here's what's interesting. It never, ever, ever, in the top 3 answers, ever doesn't include Oprah Winfrey. Never. Okay? Once in a while you get Merkel, once in a while you get Beyonce, once in a while you get Ellen. Standard answers, my wife is always one of them somewhere. Oprah is always in the top 3. 100% of the time, and it doesn't matter if it's 10,000 people or 10. Right? So now let me ask you this. What does Oprah sell? So she's a whore. You said it. I'm just repeating back to you what you said, right? Right? That always makes everybody like going, oh, geez. So what does that mean? She sells herself. Her ideas, her brand or personality. Okay, so let's hone in on that for a second. What is that? Let's think of a different word for that. She sells her influence. It's all she does. She says, buy this book. If she said buy this book, Richest Man in Babylon, this book would be sold out. There are trees in South America right now. They're like, no, right? You know, she gives away a car on a show. She gave away 450 cars, and people are like, well, that was crazy. Well, the reality, yeah, the reason she gave away those cars is simply because the car manufacturer gave her those cars, because by giving those cars away, I believe it was a Nissan, if I remember right, that car sold tens of thousands of units because Oprah gave that car away. She sells her influence, right? So in the online space and in the offline space, I just sat down and I went, okay, I started asking people who the most powerful woman in the world is. They all tell me Oprah Winfrey. The woman doesn't really sell anything except her influence. I got to figure out how does she do this? And is it something that can be replicated by somebody that's never done what she does? So I started watching her shows. It was a good excuse. Bonbons, cotton candy. It was awesome, right? And I started reading on her, and I would read interviews with her, and I've watched, and what I saw, and this happens in businesses all the time, that if you watch somebody or you study somebody over and over and over again, patterns start to occur, right? And so I kept trying to figure out, like, how does she gain influence every time? Like, she just gets bigger and bigger. I spend a lot of time over in Australia, and she came to Australia to give a 1-hour speech. It was called Evening with Oprah. And she sold out every single venue in seconds over there. I'm like, what is she going to talk about? And how does that happen for me, right? So, but when you start studying someone like that, somebody who's most powerful, you know she sells influence. One day, it literally it was like, this is it. I just figured out the whole formula. It's just complete formulaic, okay? So here's her formula. Okay? That's her formula. And if you can follow this formula and tie this into the next piece I'm going to show you, if you add all three of the pieces that we're going to really talk about tonight on top of each other, you've got every piece that you need to go out and build whatever type of business you want, offline, online, whatever. Anybody that hasn't seen this before want to take a crack at this? I never thought of it as a mathematical equation, but the reality it is. So here's the formula. Her formula is very simple. Other people's content plus their reach equals more contacts for her. So let's break down the Oprah Winfrey Show. Okay, I come from film and television production, so I can give you real numbers here. Oprah Winfrey Show is divided into 3 segments, A block, B block, and C block. It's an hour-long show. Each section is 22 minutes, approximately 20 minutes. Okay? First segment out, she comes out, does a little monologue, welcomes everybody to the show. That's her piece to say, hey, look at me. Then what happens? There's usually a chair or a couch. She brings out Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise comes out. What is Tom Cruise doing? He's going to in a second, right? But why would Tom Cruise come on the Oprah Winfrey Show? To promote a movie. There's his content. He's coming on to promote a movie. Do you think that he went on his social media and told people he's going to be on the Oprah Winfrey Show? Absolutely. Okay? So, comes on, jumps on the couch. I love Katie Holmes. I hate Katie Holmes. I love Katie Holmes. I don't like Katie Holmes, right? At 20 minutes into the show, now Tom Cruise might get 2 sections, but most people, she kicks them off in 20 minutes. And they're gone. Segment comes back. What happens next? The couch is gone, and now there's a chair. Now they bring out Nicole Kidman, right? What's Nicole Kidman doing? She's promoting a movie as well. Other people's content plus TR equals MC. Third section, she almost does as a lifestyle piece or somebody from a community, somebody that's doing some good in the community, so on and so forth. All she's really doing is she's leveraging other people's content. She's leveraging their reach. And she's her tribe of a few of those followers that fall in love with her because they like her style or whatever. That's how TV shows, that's how we build audiences. Does that make sense? So now when you you start breaking this down, this is how she's building a tribe. It's all she does. You look at the radio shows. Radio shows build big audiences because they bring on guests. The guests are doing what? They're always promoting something. That's why they're brought on. The bigger the reach that guest has, the more likelihood that they're going to be on the show. Does that make sense? If that's why you don't see on the Oprah Winfrey Show a brand new film director that made a movie on his iPhone that he thinks is going to win the Oscar. Right? The reason is because they have content, but they don't have a reach. Right? Right now in the film world, in the film production world, think about this. Just put yourself in a film producer or a studio category for a second. Right? The studio is trying to sell movie tickets. Right? Well, not really, but a movie is trying to make its money back on a movie. So if I need to hire an actor, right, and the part comes down to 2 actors, and I've got one actor that's an amazing actor, looks the part, he's absolutely he's like, we wrote the part for him, he's awesome, but he just doesn't believe in Facebook, he doesn't get Instagram, he doesn't care about YouTube, because he's an artist and he's got to go to acting school and he's a thespian, right? Doesn't believe in social media, right? And then I got another actor who's okay, right? Right color skin, probably less hair than he needs to have, not the best actor on the planet, but he has an Instagram account of 100,000 followers and a Facebook following of 200,000, 200,000 subscribers on YouTube, and has a blog that he's doing behind the scenes stuff all day long. As a business person, who do you hire? Second one, all day long. Although I coach actors and it just cracks me up when they're like, oh, I don't believe in social media. Great, that's why you're what's called broke. Right? Because the actors that have a tribe attract eyeballs to the movie, and that's what drives sales. It's not about how great you are. In today's marketplace, it comes about how big is your tribe, how big is your list, how big is the group, how much influence do you have over the marketplace. Does that make sense? It's kind of cool when you actually break down Oprah and you go, oh, that totally makes sense now. I promise you won't ever watch Oprah again the same way. You'd be like, she is just sitting up there trying to build her list. What? She's whoring herself out. See, I'm just repeating Teresa, that's all. I know, because she can say it with that sexy Latina accent. Okay, so now we've got one concept: build the tribe, engage a tribe, market to the tribe. This is a way we're going to start to build the tribe, right? So when you do content, could you do a video show or a video TV show or a Facebook Live and start leveraging out different people that are in your community that have influence already? Yeah. So if I'm doing a vintage, if I'm selling vintage motorcycle parts, I'm going to have a vintage motorcycle show that I'm going to do as a video, right? And I'm going to probably use a technology called Zoom or Be Live. You've seen it on Facebook. I'll probably do it as a Facebook Live, but I'm going to bring on a guest and I'm going to try to find the biggest influencers that I possibly can to do the show with me. Right? It's the difference between, I just had a friend of mine tell me about a podcast that he's doing. And he's like, oh, the podcast is just me. It's only me. I'm not having guests on the podcast. I said, awesome. That's brilliant. I said, so how many weeks have you done the podcast? He said, I'm in my 17th week. I'm like, great. That's 4 months. He's been doing a show. He's a really good marketer. Okay. But he is up on YouTube. Or not on YouTube, up on iTunes. He's into it 17 weeks. And he's like, Case, he goes, I'm doing awesome. I said, really? What are the numbers? He goes, we just hit our 1,000th download. And I went, bro, we got to talk. And the reason is 1,000 downloads 17 weeks in from a marketer, that's shitty. I mean, at the end of the day, right? It's not good. They can edit it and post, right? But that's not real. Those are not really good numbers, because if he were to bring on, and he's friends with really big time marketers, if he were to just bring on those marketers, interview them, what would they do? They would promote to their email list that they're going to be a guest on his show. He would then pick up way more subscribers, right? It's marketing. I don't think is a solo sport. Does that make sense? So when you build this tribe and when you're putting the reach together, you want to leverage other people's content and be the Oprah. So kind of everything that I do, I literally ask myself, is this what Oprah would do? Right? So what would Oprah do? Like when I go to a networking event, how many of you love going to networking events? Exactly. Look around the room. There's one, right? And he's the guy in the back that's smiling because he's being sarcastic. Nobody likes going to networking events. The reason people don't like going to networking events is because you've got 100 people hawking 100 products to 100 people that aren't there to buy anything. The reason they're not there to buy anything is they're there selling their 100 products to the same 100 people that aren't there to buy anything in the first place. Meanwhile, everybody just tries to get drunk on $2 Chuck in a Dixie cup and pay 20 bucks for the privilege, right? So I asked myself, what the hell would Oprah do at a networking event? Do you think she's going to go and start handing out business cards to people? No, right? So if we flip this around and go, okay, what does Oprah actually do? Like now, think about this. Think if you go to a networking event and you're looking for the influential people in the room to just be on your show, to just interview. Just do a post on Facebook. Take your camera out, figure out how to use your camera on your smartphone, record a 4-minute or 5-minute video, ask a specific question that's related to whose business, yours or theirs, their business. Now, what can you do with that video? You slap it up on Facebook, and what are they going to do? They share it. Now, you are leveraging other people's content plus their reach equals more followers for you on Facebook. What? What'd you say? Bada bing. If you can get, so here's the example, right? So let's say that you go to a networking event. Do you guys all go to networking events? Sometimes, every once in a while. To me, they do this most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, where they teach you not to sell stuff, and then they say, we're going to do 30-second commercials, right? And then here's the reality on the 30-second commercials. First off, nobody goes prepared, so nobody knows what the heck they're supposed to say. Secondly, they're just trying to pitch their product, but the reality is if we start here, and we're going to go here, all the way around here, and we're going to end with Rusty, is he in the best position or the worst position? Who thinks he's in the best position because he's going to go first? Okay. Okay. Who thinks he's in the worst position? Yeah, I'm gonna agree. He's in the worst position. Here's why. Because the minute he stands up, what are the rest of you all doing? Thinking, oh shit, what am I gonna say? I'm not gonna listen to this. Oh my gosh, now I'm only 4 people away. Now I'm only 3 people away. Now I'm only 2 people away. Oh crap. Then you stand up, you blurt out something that not one person is gonna remember, and then you sit down and it's like, now I don't have to pay attention anymore. Right? So if you want to at least be memorable, then just position yourself in the right position first off and go sit in that spot no matter what. I'm the guy that if this was the case and we knew we were going to do these 30-second commercials and this room looked just like this, honest to goodness, this would be how I would deal with this. Here, let me steal this. I would literally just take my chair, even if all these people are eating breakfast, I just go sit right up here. I just sit right here. And then they're like, oh, well, our table's full. I'm like, oh, I'm not eating. I'm just going to sit here. And I just sit here. At least I'm positioning myself properly. Does that make sense? Now, 30-second commercials. I'm only going to tell you this because I think it's important skill set to have in the short term. When you do the 30-second commercial, if you get up, hey, my name's Casey, and I'm a graphic designer, and you should buy a logo from me because I'm more expensive than Fiverr. Right? Nobody's going to remember. Very, very, very few times there's someone going to go, oh, that's genius. That's exactly what I need. I'm going to go right over and buy that. Right? So I'm going to offer you just a different perspective. Is when you go to the event, what you want to try to do is find the most influential person in the room. Most influential person that you could possibly find in the room straight away before the event ever starts. This is a person that you either want on a show or a podcast or a video or something that you want to do, or it's somebody that you want to work with, or you actually want to buy something from. Okay? Now, I'm always looking for the influencers in the room. So when I go to a networking event, I never even pay attention to anybody that's selling something in the room. I literally look at it as an audition. I'm trying to find the most influential people in the room. Because here's the secret about influencers. They all hang out together. If you crack the code of influencers, they all hang out together. They don't want to be sold anything. They don't want to be talking to people that are trying to sell them stuff. They want to talk about higher level stuff. So that all the influencers hang out in a clique. And here's the thing. Who are the 5 influencers at every event? The organizer. Yep. Matt, MC, yep. So we got the organizers, the speakers, and the app jobs. Okay. So why do you want to get to know the organizers? They know everybody in the room, right? These guys know a bunch of you. They're the ones that are in complete control. Does that make sense? So why most people are like, oh, I need to find 5 customers or whatever. I'm the guy that's like, can I help you guys set up? I get here early. I'm like lugging books around. Like, what do I need? Because I know that if I say, hey guys, I'm really looking to meet the best Amazon seller in the world, they're going to go, well, it's us, right? But then after that, right? No, then they might say, hey, you got to meet Kirk. So then they come and introduce me to Kirk. At the second they introduce me to Kirk, what happens? My credibility is built. Their credibility, everybody wins in this case. Their position does the influencer. If I just bumble around and I just meet Kirk and I'm trying to sell him something, I won't have nearly the weight as if these guys introduce me. Does that make sense? So I always want to get to know the organizers. Next up, I want to get to know the speakers, right? The reason I want to get to know the speakers is why? I'm an influencer, right? At this exact moment in time, I have a microphone on, and so far, I have highlighted Michaela and vintage motorcycle parts a bunch of times, right? Gene sells luggage, right? So Steve sells safes, right? So because of that, we had that talk ahead of time. I know a little bit about them. They know a little bit about me. Gene hasn't said a word, but you all know he sells luggage, right? I've only asked you your name, but everybody in this room knows that you sell vintage motorcycle parts. Does that make sense? So you want to get to know the speakers, because the speakers, if they are, I don't want to say if they're decent because that's a bad thing, but experienced, most experienced speakers understand that thank you, that have audience interaction. They want to be able to use audience participation. Because honestly, here's a little secret about speakers. The more they talk about you from the audience, the more likely you're going to buy something from them. Does that make sense? I'm going to have an order form for you in a minute. No. Right? But it's true, right? If a speaker mentions you from stage and they talk about your business from stage, there is just statistically a higher likelihood that you are more likely to engage with them than not. Okay? Speaker, and then the biggest yap jobs in the room. Right? I always try to find the biggest yap jobs in the room. You will know the yap jobs in the room because they're loud. They don't talk to each other because God forbid the spotlight's on 2 of them at the same time. They're usually holding court. They're usually telling jokes, right? But they're the ones that are influential, and they just are charismatic and usually draw people to each other. So when I'm at an event, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get these 3 groups of people. And I'm just trying to do as many introductions as I can. As many introductions as I can, right? Happened the second we walked in here. Rusty is a very, very close friend of mine. I've known him for years and years and years. He showed up here, he drove up from Pima, Arizona. I don't know where it's from. Half the time I usually answer it. But so here's what happened. Kirk's up here, we're talking, Rusty walks in, I immediately walk up, and within 5 seconds, I've introduced them. Right? As soon as I introduce them, and I kind of say what each of them does, this is Kirk's product, this is Rusty's product, they're both on Amazon, I introduce them. What happens next? I bailed. I walk away. Now, if they were to go do business, and let's say they build a business together, or they partner together, or they do business together, who is going to get the credit forever for introducing them? Me. Yeah. You have to say that. This is why people that are connectors almost always can get more stuff done, because they've built a foundation and a reputation of connecting people over and over and over again. So when you go to a networking event, don't sell anything. Nobody's going to buy it. Go there, find the influencers, and start introducing them. As soon as you introduce them, walk away. Right? Just as a side note, would you like to know how to get out of every bad conversation at a networking event 100% of the time? 3 words. Gets you out of every conversation. I gotta pee. Works every time. And if it doesn't, get an order form out because they're buying. Right? So I'm just looking to always be introducing and always leveraging them out. If I introduce these two and I know they're influencers and I connect them, don't you think when I then say, hey, Kirk, would you come on and do a Facebook Live with me? There's a higher likelihood he's going to say yes. Right? And in that, is it possible that he might say something nice about my product, good, or service in that interview? Yeah. Right? Okay. Now I want to throw one more concept. How are we doing time-wise? Oh, jeez, oodles of time. Let me use my biologically enhanced Kleenex. So, how many of you are familiar with the idea of, like, we'll say funnel, or a sales funnel? A few of you, most of you, okay. So it's just a process, right? So business is a series of systems and processes. This is how I really look at it. I am not that smart. The only thing I know how to do is break things down to an easy, formulaic way of trying to get something accomplished. Okay. Here's what if you really break stuff down, why I think some businesses really succeed and some businesses really struggle, and it's understanding this cycle of people. Okay. So when we meet someone, and this can be whether we meet them online, they could be a piece of cold traffic, meaning that you're putting an advertisement up on Facebook or you're putting an ad up in front of a YouTube video. There are so many snarky things you can do with YouTube videos. I can't even tell you. Do any of you YouTube video market in here? Do videos on YouTube? Oh, a few of you? Oh, can I just my little YouTube thing for just a minute? Do you know how snarky you can get with YouTube? Well, you guys probably know if you do this. You could actually do an ad and put it in front of somebody else's video that's in your market that puts ads up, and you could actually put your ad in and talk about their video in your ad and actually trick the viewer into thinking that the video that they're watching is actually your ad. Yeah. So if Rusty's doing a video, do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, so when you go to YouTube and you're clicking around and you want to watch cats spinning around in a washing machine or whatever, right? And you get off and maybe you're going to watch a video on a marketing tip for YouTube. Okay? And so you can type in marketing tip for YouTube. And there's a video that comes up there that says how to use a fake word in a YouTube video. Okay, and you're like, oh, I'm going to click on that. Well, some YouTubers will put an ad in front of that. And if you watch that ad, they get paid. Okay, but they really want you to skip the ad and watch their video, because then they're going to try to add you to their tribe by putting you on a list or whatever, right? So marketers, we ruin everything, I'm telling you. But I could create an ad that says, hey, let me tell you about how to use a fake word in YouTube. And then I could specifically put that ad on top of that video, and now I'm collecting the traffic from that ad. You think you're watching the video that you signed up for. You're really watching an ad that I make. Okay? Yes. I got a marketer to say brilliant. I love it. Yeah. Yeah. Now let me take it a step further. When you do your keywords in your YouTube video, make up one fake word that nobody's going to ever do. No, because it's in a keyword, nobody will see it. So put it as your tag. So let's say your keyword is, 37 Vegas. Vegas, you know, exclamation point. Okay, so check this out. You know on the right-hand side of YouTube how it shows those suggested videos? Well, what you're wanting to do is you really want to get your videos on that right-hand side, right? Well, YouTube's just a mathematical equation, right? So what you do is you take a fake word and you put it in every video as a keyword. Every video of yours as a keyword, the same one. Nobody can search for it. So what happens is YouTube's what's called a progressive algorithm, which means essentially that if you click on one YouTube video on cats spinning around in a washing machine, it's going to suggest more on the right. When you click a second one, it's combining those keywords behind the scenes, and now it's going to suggest, and that's why you cannot escape cat spinning in a washing machine for weeks, right? Because it's just like it's going to keep shoving them in front of you, and then you're going to get retargeted. It's a whole thing, right? So if we know that, we can use that to our advantage. So let's say we have our own keyword in it. So that way, if I put a video on YouTube and I've got only 10 videos or 50 videos, and I have that keyword in them, then YouTube starts to narrow down that it thinks that the viewer wants to see only videos with that set of keywords, and the only common thread is that one fake word, which means that now you can start occupying way more space because hopefully you're putting your competitors as your keywords and as your tags as well. No, in the tags. Yeah, so does this make sense? Yep. Yep. Hashtags are another whole, that's a whole, you could actually probably put a hashtag in there, but I don't want people searching for this because, no, this is private. This is only for the mathematical equation, right? No. You've got your description, you got your title, and you've got your description, you've got your keywords, and that's in tags, okay? So you just want to put that same keyword in every single video. And that way on the right-hand side, now if you're going to go watch a video on Amazon selling, it's going to start to try to, you have to understand that YouTube is trying to put in front of you videos that it thinks you want to see, and it does that based on the tags and the keywords that are in there. So if there's 1,000 videos, or let's say 8 million videos on how to sell on Amazon, but only 50 of them have word, and you've clicked on 2 or 3 of those videos, YouTube goes, got it. See, he wants to see all the videos that are 37 Vegas exclamation point. And now you're stuck. Does that make sense? Now, let's take this a half step further. I'm just in nerd heaven to myself up here. Now check this out. If you did YouTube videos and your YouTube video were interviews with influencers in your marketplace, right? You sell safes. So maybe you did you interviewed somebody from one of the hunting shows, or you interviewed somebody from the NRA because I assume there's lots of gun safes, or you interviewed people from people that do cryptocurrency that got to throw their hard drive in a safe somewhere, right? Whatever those people are, now we do this keyword. So Rusty might type in cryptocurrency, sees a safe, sees one of your videos with the safe, but now all of a sudden he's like, oh, click on that. Now it's stuck into your keyword. That's why in marketing, to me, the best thing to do is go interview your competitors. Go interview your competitors. You know why? Because now people are going to search for them. Who are they going to see? You on the right-hand side. So let's say, you know, one of my friends, also somewhat of a competitor, is a friend of mine named Todd Falcone, right? So people type in Todd Falcone in YouTube, and it's hilarious because you go type in Todd Falcone, and I occupy like 4 spots on the right-hand side for his name. He calls me all the time. He's like, I just can't escape you. He says, but I type in your name, and I don't show up anywhere, right? It's just because I have a fake word. I use Todd in every one of my videos. I talk about Todd in videos. I've interviewed Todd on a podcast multiple times. And then I leverage out that content over and over and over again because I know how all these mathematical equations work. Does that make sense? So before I finish going through this thing, you can break apart contact. We started this by saying the reason I use Zoom is Zoom is a webinar platform. It's super cheap. It's like 50, I think it's like $50. How much is it? So call it $50 a month. Yeah. Yeah. And can you do recordings on that and spin it into YouTube and everything? Okay. So it's free. I mean, like, what better 4-letter word is there, right? It's free. Awesome Video. What is it? You can go to awesomevideowebinar.com, get yourself a free account at Zoom if you want, right? So on Zoom, you do a little show. You got a couple of people on there. You interview them for 5 or 10 minutes. Now, the cool thing about Zoom and why I love it is that when you finish recording Zoom, Zoom actually sends you a copy of the video recording. But here's the other thing. It also sends you the audio recording, right? So they basically create your podcast right there for you from the same one piece of content, right? In the world of marketing, a couple of you are too young, but do a lot of you know who Coolio is, the singer Coolio, right? Or Pitbull, right? Coolio and Pitbull have the same marketing concept. They don't even sing their own songs. They sing a couple lines on everybody else's songs, right? Coolio is everywhere all the time. Back in the 80s and 90s, that dude showed up on every artist's song. Pitbull, he sings a couple of lines on Taylor Swift's album. Then he goes over here and he does, somebody else's. Why? Other people's content plus their reach. He built an entire audience for himself by singing on other people's songs, right? People look at sometimes the stuff I do and they can't figure it out. Well, the reality is I try to get myself on as many people's podcasts as possible. Why? Because I get introduced to their audience all the time, right? There's actually a site called, I can't remember it. But when you fill out my form tonight, I'll send you an email and I'll remind you of that. I will actually. Oh yeah, I'll tell that story in a sec. Would you remind me, please, to find the podcast list site? At the end, I'm gonna give you guys a sheet. I'm gonna ask you to fill it out. I'll send you an email with the name of this, and it's a list that you pay like $5 a month for it, or $10 a year or something, and they send you every day like 10 people that are looking for guests on their podcasts, and they're super easy to get on. Right. And if you have a podcast and you're looking for guests, I think you pay $5 and you can have them send out that list to all their people to see who wants to join your podcast. Yep. It tells a whole show description, how many people listen to it, where it is, all that kind of jazz. It's like radio. I just can't remember it, but I'll send that to you guys if you want. So what Bruce is talking about is I had this competitor. She's no longer a competitor, so I don't want to say her name actually. So in the valley, down in the valley, I kind of got known as the guy that taught networking, right? And that's kind of one of the specialties I do. I really teach people how to network at live events or online events. And she was my competitor in the valley, and she tried to come in and teach people how to do networking as well. And so one day she called me and she's like, "Hey, this seems like a little weird because we're competitors, but would you give me a testimonial?" I was like, well, that takes some cojones, calling up your competitor and asking for a testimonial. And so I asked her, I said, well, what are you going to do with it? She goes, oh, I want to be able to use it on my site and stuff. I'm like, okay. So I went out, and I don't do this very often, but I went out and I hired a production crew to do a testimonial. And I made sure that I had the right clothes on, I had makeup on, I was lit properly. I gave her the best testimonial ever. And here's why. Because I knew that she was building a new website. I knew how much she was spending on the website. But what I also knew is that she was setting aside about $100,000 for search engine optimization and marketing for her website. And I'm like, if she puts me on her website and she does $100,000 worth of marketing for this website, I get $100,000 worth of marketing for nothing. And she was fairly cheesy. And so I did like the best job ever. I hired a copywriter to write the testimony. Like I went a little crazy on this, right? So the testimonial was so good. Where do you think it went? Her homepage. Her homepage of her website had my smiley face on there where I said, hey guys, my name's Casey, the Ideal Networker. What was the name of my blog? The Ideal Networker. right? It was awesome. It was like the best marketing dollars I spent. I leveraged on her spend, right? Because marketers, sometimes we don't think very well. Right? Okay. Does this make sense? So you want to leverage out, you want to do this. Okay. So now when we have some customers, we're all doing this to attract contacts. Right? We're all, like right now, before we really kind of walked in and met each other, we're all contact. You're all my contact. Let's just use me as an example of this, right? Right now, everybody you meet is a contact. Okay? At some point, we're going to have to do some stuff to move them. I don't know. Is that right? What? Okay. I went to public school. So prospect, right? So is every contact going to be a prospect? No. Thank you. Do you know how many times I ask that and people go, yeah, of course, everybody with skin's my prospect, whatever. Jeez. Okay. It happens at every event. Okay. What makes somebody a prospect that's warmer or closer to the buying decision than a contact? Right. So they have a need. Okay. What else? Yes, they have the money. How many of you do presentations and you get all the way through your presentation, whether it's an online or offline presentation, and at the end they go, yeah, this sounds awesome, but I can't afford this. Right? So they have the money. What else? They're ready to spend the money. Yep, so that's a sort of an immediate need. What else? Oh my gosh, thank you. And you're the guy to tell me that you're just brand new. Do you know how many times I ask this and it takes me 40 minutes to get somebody to tell me that they have the dang decision-making ability? Yeah. Right? They have to have the decision making. How many times, you're a real estate, where's my real estate agent? Real estate agents, right? You guys go show a house. The husband's walking through the house. It's like, oh, this is awesome. I'm ready to go. This is awesome. This is awesome. And what happens next? Wife says no. No decision making. So you spend all this time presenting to a non-prospect. Happens all the time. Okay? So not everybody's going to be a prospect, but then we're going to engage this prospect over and over and over again. And as we do our online presentation or offline, which could be ads, it could be copy, it could be a one-on-one presentation, whatever your mode of presentation is, some of these people are going to turn into clients. Are all prospects going to become clients? No, but some will. If the answer is yes for your business, the fundamental hole in your business is you don't have enough prospects. If you talk to one person and they say yes, that's a scary proposition, right? Some of these people are going to turn into clients. Now, when they become a client, this is the key. This is where most business owners, in my opinion, backed by facts, fail. Because they're going to take the money and they're going to extract this person out of the conversation. Okay? But if you complete this circle, some of these clients, if you treat them really well, you do a really great job, you provide excellent customer service, some of those turns into fans. What's another name for a fan? Referral partner. Okay? Finish the sentence, birds of a feather flock together. So if you've got the perfect prospect and these fans, you give them reasons, you bring them back into the fold and you ask them to give you a referral, or they give you a referral and they give you a contact as a referral, isn't it just by pure nature, if they flock together, there is a higher likelihood that they're going to get closer to the prospect mark or closer to the client mark faster, right? I ask business owners this all the time. I did it at dinner. What percentage of your business is word of mouth referral? When I speak at a big event where we've got thousands of people in the room, I do a whole exercise where I say, stand up if your business is 90% or more word of mouth referral. More than 3/4 of the room always stands up. And I say, sit down if you can't tell me the name and phone number of your top 10 people that give you that business. And almost everybody sits down. Nobody keeps track of who's sending the referrals. So they say, my business is based on word of mouth referral. Who gives you the referrals? I don't know. Well, how do you know how to thank them? Well, we thank everybody. Okay, but don't you want to take your fans and make them feel absolutely awesome? If you make your fans feel absolutely awesome, they're going to bring this back. The businesses that make this cycle spin the fastest win every time. And what I mean by that in terms of pure dollars and cents, it's a lead costs money, right? It costs time and money to cultivate somebody as a contact or a lead, right? You did something, you met them, you signed up, you put an ad in front of them over and over and over again, right? But here's the deal. If Kirk and I are selling the same product and we're selling it for the same price and everything is held simpler, but his cost to generate a customer is $1. Okay, so it costs him $1 to get a customer, or he can spend up to $1 to get a customer. $5 to get a customer. Who wins? Every time. I'll put him out of business. I'll buy out his customer base. Right? So now it's how do you decrease the cost of leads? The way you decrease the cost of a lead is by creating influence so that that group of influencers brings these folks back. And then you bring in these fans, these fanatics of yours, and that's who brings the business back over and over and over again. Right? So Kirk's out spending money trying to get a lead. I'm taking care of my referral partners. My referral partners are bringing me the leads. Right? Those referral partners, now because they have influence, they have their own tribes, they have their own content, they have their own product, they have their own fan base. Now they're the ones that are actually out helping you do the work because they love what you do. Right? This you know, and this is just fundamental business on some level that most people don't take care of their fans. Most people don't even know who their fans are. You know, and then you go, well, how most businesses are spending money here, and they're spending money here. I own a part of a bar up in Seattle. It's a craft beer bar. Anybody from Seattle or know anything about Seattle? No, no, but that would have been a great story if it was, isn't it? No, we own a craft beer bar up in Black Diamond, Washington. The name of the bar is Imbibe. It's a stupid name. I hate the name. It's Latin to drink, right? But we have a program that we have called the Imbibe Tribe. So when you come in and you sit down for a beer, our bartenders get to know you. They're going to take your picture. They're going to ask you to fill out a little form, lead generation, if you want to be part of our VIP Imbibe Tribe. As soon as you leave the store, we send you a thank you card. Thanks for stopping by. If we can get your picture, we put your picture on the front of the card and type a message on the inside. If you're celebrating a birthday or an anniversary, we're going to probably add brownies or a cake into that card or whatever. We're going to start this relationship off right. Then I'm going to send you another card maybe a month later. Say, hey, come on back in. We want to make you feel like a rock star. So bring a couple of friends and your first pint is on us. We don't care what it is. Now you come in, you bring your buddies in, right? We walk in, you give us the card because that's how we know to give you a free beer. And the minute you give me a card, what do I know about you? You're a fan, at least a repeat customer, or you just are a drunk and want free beer, right? Right? But you've told me that we did a good enough job that you'll come back into you'll get in your car and drive to our place to enjoy a beer. Do those people come in by themselves? No, they're going to bring some friends. So when they bring their friends in, the drunk does, right? We're next to a meeting right next door. There's a meeting space, basket included. So now you bring your buddy back in, or you bring your friends in. Our bartenders know that you're part of our Imbibe Tribe. Now we go out of our way. We literally take Sharpie or dry erase markers and write your name on glasses. The bartenders are going to make you feel like a rock star. We're going to offer to take your picture. We're going to say, hey, on behalf of Kirk, if you want to fill out and become part of our Imbibe Tribe, we only allow that for people that come in that are friends of his. So we're going to make him feel like a rock star the entire time. What is he going to do next? Bring more friends. Bring more friends. Then we got to a place where we started putting, people had their own special kind of beer. So we would listen to what beers they want. We actually create on their card, check off what kind of beers they like. And when we get a new beer that matches their liking, we call them on the phone. Say, hey, we got a new IPA in. Our other shtick, and this is just shticky more than anything, we have 1,000. So this is more just for me saying the marketing thing because I bought into the bar, so I have to say it. We had this really cool idea. So we had this really cool, amazing homemade bar built, and in the center of the bar, there's a like a little brass, I don't know what you call it, inlay. And every beer that's on tap at our shop has to be brewed within 100 miles of that exact point in the bar. If it's brewed 1 mile outside of that circle, it can't be on the tap. Okay. Sometimes it makes it hard to get beer, but we're in Seattle. So, but we also have refrigeration units, and we carry 1,000 micro beers in those refrigerators. So if Kirk comes in and we don't have the beer he likes, Kirk, what's your favorite beer? Oh, it's, we won't do Coors, but let's say he says Coors, right? Right? They have a new marketing campaign out that I love. So now we make a list. We have it the next day. We call the distributor that gets it. We now stock it in the refrigerator. Now we call Kirk. Say, hey, we got your beer in. What does he feel like? Rock star. Is he going to come in to buy that beer by himself? No. What happens when he comes in and he says, hey, I'm looking for Coors. Now we know he's part of the Imbibe tribe. Now we can bring it right. We serve it right in front of him. What do his friends think? Wait, you come here way too much. Right? But we make them a fan, right? These fans, we take really, really good care of our fans. The other bars in town can't figure out because they're spending money on advertisements, radio spots. They're going and hawking their stuff everywhere. All we're doing is taking people and making them feel like a rock star. Appreciate your clients more than anything, and especially your word of mouth referral clients. It's huge. That makes sense?
Basically creating an experience.
Everything is an experience, right? So we were talking a little bit about this at dinner. Next week, I'm going over and I'm speaking at the shoe retailers, right? So all these guys and gals that own independent shoe stores, right? Yap job. Now I'm serious a second. Now I'm serious for a second. Do you guys just see that? This was so perfect. What's your name? Bill. Now he's smiling, but I guarantee you, I can tell by personality already, the minute he just said that, I just went, yap job. And I'm guessing that if I talk to him afterwards, I'm going to find out that he's got some influence in the marketplace, right? Because he's a little outgoing. He's going to tell a joke in front of a group of strangers. Hope it works, right? If not, we're just his test audience, right? He'll be at the Comedy Store later. It's all about experience. So these shoe guys, these shoe stores, all they did last year was complain about Amazon. Oh, Amazon's putting us out of business, blah, 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 right? This year, I'm going and I'm actually taking the opposite approach of Amazon. And that is that the moment a human being walks into a store, at that moment, the store has beat Amazon for the customer. The problem is they then try to treat that customer the same way that Amazon treats its customers, which is based purely on price and purely marketing the absolute bejesus out of you to buy every other competitor's products on the planet. Right? As customers, we might like that. But as a seller, if you sell on Amazon, you hate that. You spend all this money to get somebody to go look at your listing, and then Amazon does a brilliant job of getting them off your listing and sending them to some other listing that they would rather them buy from. Right? Kirk's like, yeah! Right? But this is what happens. So when somebody walks into a physical store to buy something, we don't want to be treated like we're a number and a set of digits as if we're on Amazon. We're not in our panties late at night eating bonbons shopping. We're in fully dressed clothing in a store. We want to be treated to an experience. The people that put an experience together make this thing spin way faster. What? No.
Remember the sunglasses lady? When I went to buy shoes and I bought the spa for my eyes?
Oh yeah, yeah. You go in, and this is the thing. If you are treated to an experience, we buy more. We buy more. We buy extra stuff, right? Here's just a human behavior. We don't want to be sold anything, but we love to buy, right? So the key is being able to create that experience for our customer all the way through this process so that they feel so loved and appreciated that they go tell all their friends and family about it, right? Here's the problem. The problem is a lot of people take the opposite approach. I am fascinated by people that have 27 Twitter followers that have a bad experience and think that if they tweet how bad their experience is on Twitter, that they're going to put like Delta Airlines out of business. Like, I'm fascinated by that, right? Because here's what happens, right? Oh, I'm using my massive influence of 27 Twitter followers to take down Delta Airlines, right? They lost my luggage. Well, it stands for don't expect luggage to arrive. So why did you expect? You had bad expectations, as far as I can tell, right? So this is why it's true, right? So you know, I'll just kind of any questions. Like, let's talk about this. Does this make sense?
What is the best way to get that concept online
For a startup business, find the influencers in the same space. So if you sell fishing reels, go find the fishermen, do a podcast or do a video and highlight them. That's number one. Now you're tapping into their audience. Now they buy a fishing reel from you. Now it's like, what do I got to do to make you feel special? Hey, send me a picture of you fishing and I'm going to splash it on our Facebook page. Hey, we're going to run a contest of the person that catches the biggest fish on our particular fishing. Again, sports, and I don't know nothing what I'm talking about. But it's all about human recognition. In a space, especially online, where we become somewhat faceless and numbers and digits and lists and all of that, we all crave recognition. We really crave to be recognized, right? We know statistically and psychologically that the most valuable thing that we hear is our own name. So being able to just use somebody's name in an email or in a Facebook post or in an Instagram post, using their name and highlighting them and making them feel special no matter what, huge. We were talking about, we literally sold the exact same product on Amazon, manufactured in the same exact building. We just found this out at dinner. It's hilarious, right? We no longer sell that product, right? But here's what we did probably a little bit differently, right? We knew that we were competing with 50 other people that manufactured in the same exact building that we did in Ohio. So we thought the only way we are going to make any money out of this thing is if we get people to buy more of the product than our competitors. So most of our competitors' number of orders was 1.3 bottles. It was a pet spray. You've got a pee stain on your floor. You spray this on, and tomorrow it goes away, theoretically, right? So we knew that most of our competitors were selling about 1.3 to 1.4 bottles per order. Yeah, yeah. And we were at about 4 to 5 bottles per order. The reason was we started marketing to people that had the money and were the decision makers. So on our bottle, it literally says, buy one for your boat, buy one for your RV, buy one for your office, on the bottle. Because we knew that people were looking at the ad visual. And then we picked up the phone and called every one of our customers. And in that conversation, oh my gosh, my name's Casey Eberhard. I'm the CEO of EVS Steamroller. You bought our bottle of Pet Peeve, and I just wanted to call and say thank you so much for your order. Really appreciate it. I want to give you my personal cell number. If there's a problem, if it doesn't work, if it doesn't arrive safely, I want you to call me immediately and I'll take care of it. What do you think people, this is actually interesting. If you got a call like that, what would you think most people would react? Surprise. Do you know how many people were complete a-holes to me? All of them. Almost 100%. Why do you think, why? That's it. They could not believe that the CEO of the company was calling them to thank them for a $20 bottle, a $20 order. They thought I was going to sell them more.
That's funny. We're going to actually do the same thing. We're going to hire the sweetest woman in the world that I know. Don't want to do it because she wanted something to do. But then we thought the same thing. That would probably just ruin her life. because they wouldn't understand. So instead, my wife just sent out postcards.
Yeah. So that was a deal. The number of people, it was almost funny because we set aside, my business partner and I, we each set aside a couple hours a day to just pick up the phone and call customers and thank them for their business. And it was funny because you'd start, and at about a half an hour in, we'd start getting return calls. And the return calls were, I called Kirk, I thank him for his business. He's like, yeah, dude, what? Come on, what's the pitch? What are you trying to sell me? They were just jerks. Hang up the phone, and then he'd start feeling guilty. Like, that guy just called to be nice to me, and I was just a total jerk to him. And then we started getting calls back. Oh, yeah, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I didn't really think that was really cool of you. Like, how can we help you out? That was like, we got asked that all the time. How can we help you out? I'm like, the two things is, number one, Amazon, we live and die by reviews. If you just go give us a review, we'd love that. Do you think we said that to people who were problems? No. But, right? Or I'd say, hey, let me send you another bottle. Let me give you a coupon code to give to one of your friends. Why? What would I know about their friends? They'd have pets, right? By the way, there's ourselves, kids, grandkids, and then pets. People spend more on pets than they do their grandkids, which to me is fascinating. My dad was a veterinarian. Thank you very much. Put me through college, right? Right? So if you just start to know and make people, whether they buy a $6 product from you or a free download, you got to make them feel special. Give way more value than they expect. And it happens every time. You'll know who refers. I mean, look at people that, you know, if you run an affiliate program, meaning that you are the store and you have people selling your product on your behalf, it's huge. Those affiliates are going to tell you who is a fan and who isn't. Does that make sense? I'll give you a perfect example, right? I'm doing an event. This might sound like a sales pitch, and it is, but it's not really. But well, I want to use it as an excuse just because it makes it easier. I run a high-level business coaching, training, accountability mastermind program. Okay, in that group are people that have gone through this entire process with me, and they have basically indicated by their wallets that they are fans. Because it's a higher level investment, right? It's not for everybody. So this group right here, they're fans, right? So I'm doing an event on May 19th called Networking Riches. It's a whopping $47. Okay? I have all these people that call me and say, I want to promote the event. I want to promote the event. I want to promote the event. So I'm like, cool, I'll give you 50% of whatever you sell. You sell a ticket for $47, I'll give you $23.50 or whatever it is. Okay? How many people do you think that have never come to Networking Riches go out and actually promote that event? Zero. Maybe 1 or 2 sales come in because they don't know what they're even promoting. They're not really a fan. They might be a client. They might be a prospect. They might just be kind of a friend, right? So with my mastermind program, I say to them, this is my fan base, right? How do I know they're fans of mine? They've invested a lot of time and money and energy to be with me. Right? Be with us. So what do? We say, look, if you guys want to promote Networking Riches, we'll pay you 100% commission for you to sell tickets. And I have friends of mine that will be like, why would you do that? It's going to cost you money to run the event. Why would you risk that? Why? Because I know that the Platinum Inner Circle members, birds of a feather flock together. They've been to Networking Riches. They've got value out of it. They actually took it way step further and joined the mastermind program. The likelihood that they sell tickets is huge. It's huge. 80%, 90% of the people that are in that room come from sales, either from me direct or from the Platinum Inner Circle members. Does that make sense? Because these guys feel amazing, hopefully. Now, out of here, are all of the master members going to sell tickets? No, because they could basically then get set right back on this, and not all of them are super fans. They're all clients on some level, but they're not all fans. Does that make sense?
Not too sure what you meant by that.
So if somebody is, so in the grand scheme of this, so let's say I have 2 levels, right? One level is Networking Riches, which is the event. And then we've got the mastermind, which is like it's like my coaching program. Okay. One price is $47. The other is several $1,000. Okay. So all of the Platinum Inner Circle, that's the mastermind program. These guys get paid 100% commission, right? But not all of them are so enamored with making $47, or they're not 100% like super fans of the program. I mean, they're all clients, but not all of them will ascend up and raise their hand and go, dude, I'll go put it on the line for you. I'll go promote your event for you. I'll go talk about how awesome I think your event is. Some will say, I will, but they don't. Some don't have the skill set. Some don't have the tribe to do it to. But there's a handful of them in there that the vast majority of the tickets that are sold will come from a very small handful of people inside that mastermind. And they will become from the people that in this group would be categorized as fans. Now, why else would I pay 100% commission to those folks that are in the mastermind program? Bingo. They're going to bring me birds of a feather, right? They already know what the Platinum group is going to be about. So they're not going to bring somebody to Networking Riches that they don't think is going to be of value to the space. Plus, if I pay them $47 for each ticket, do I get to reward them for bringing me new contacts? I get to reward them for bringing me new leads. Now, if I pay them that money, what does that also do? What does it do for them? Makes them feel good, but what else does it do? No, I don't like to do obligation. They want to bring clients, but what's the selfish thing that happens for them? They get paid cash. What? So okay, so so if I pay them cash, what is there a higher likelihood that they will do when their membership expires in a year after they join? They will rejoin. Why do I want them to rejoin? One, because I love them and they're awesome, right? But also, if one of them or two of them or five of them or 10 of them make more money selling event tickets than their membership in the Platinum Circle, it's free for them, but what's in it for me? Well, I don't look at it as more. I have more clients. I now don't have to spend as much for clients because I'm getting referral business and I'm rewarding those referral partners that are bringing me more clients. And this can work. This is an online. You run an online membership course. Like you could do a membership. You could do a vintage motorcycle membership thing where every month they get $10 off on a spare part. They get a video on some fix-it job. They get some framed picture of whatever thing you want. Membership is huge. It's recurring revenue. Once you find that tribe, and here's the other thing. Let me just take this one step off a little bit off thing. What I do see a lot of people do when we sit down is the idea is that you find one tribe or you build one tribe and you sell multiple products to that one tribe, right? What some people do is they go, oh, I'm going to do multiple streams of income, which I'm 100% on board with. But then they try to build two tribes. I'm going to sell vintage motorcycle parts and yarn. So now I got to build a tribe of motorcycle riders and knitters. That's hard. Right? But if you built a tribe of people that love to fish, well, you could sell them adventure travel. You could sell them fishing reels, fishing rods, tackle boxes, different tackles, different baits, fly fishing, all kinds of things to the same tribe. So when you're doing your online list building or tribe building, try to keep the tribe in a specific zone. Some particular interest. Why I love Meetup. Like I use Meetup like crazy, right? You guys do this on a Meetup platform, right? How many of you use Meetup? Okay, how many of you are organizers of Meetup? A couple of you. You guys, it's massive. They'll build the list for you. You go in and say, I want to build a group of people that love to knit and ride motorcycles. Meetup's going to go find those people for you. You don't even have to pay for them.
By the way, if you have an interest and you type it in Meetup that you're interested in building a Meetup of some sort, and you type in your interest, it'll actually tell you how many people are interested in the same thing that are wanting you to start. They don't know how to do it. People type in those types of things.
I just got done teaching a 6-week course on Meetup. And we put 42 people through that course. They are all taking over meetups. Like if you step down from this is the craziest thing. If you have a Meetup group, what's the name of this group? Meetup. SCV Internet Marketers. If these guys stop paying their bill, Meetup is going to send an email to all of you that says, hey, this group is open for any of you yahoos that want it. And all it takes is this. Boop. And you now own the group. You own the tribe. I just set up a Meetup for this Networking Riches event, and I just set up 24 different Meetup groups in the San Fernando Valley for the group. We have like 19,000 people in just those groups. It cost me about $100 a month. And I've got 19,000 people in my tribe, all based on we keep everything kind of businessy, but I've got a couple of cryptocurrency groups, a couple of real estate groups, internet marketing groups, all kinds of groups, all about business people. Now, let's say, bless you, let's say I came up with a product and somebody said, hey, Casey, I'll pay you 100% to promote my event. Could I not just take that and go set it up as my own Meetup, send an email to all those people and make some sales? All totally online. Yeah.
So I know we're getting into time about the soft closing stuff, so people do need to totally understand that. I just want to make sure I reiterate to those who are not here earlier, we do meet first Tuesday of every month. We are on meetup.com. And if you sign up, that is the only way you get really the notifications about the group, like Casey speaking, or if for some reason Barnes & Noble says we can't use the room, that's the only way you're going to know that we can't make that and where the other location might be. So please sign up there when you're at that, if you want to find out more about the group. As far as if you want to ever contact me, those of you who've already heard this that you come before, I'm horrible at responding in email. Okay, but if you email me at least twice and you tell me this is the second time you're emailing, out of guilt, I will get back to you. And it's not because
you don't admit that to people.
Well, it's not because I don't care. It's because a lot of times I'm on my phone, I see it, I don't have time to reply, and I forget. So if you do the second time, I will stop, pull over if I have to, and reply back and do something so that I make sure. But it's only because I know that's how urgent it is on certain things. Now, thank goodness a lot of you don't email, but
no, you know you're a marketer, so these guys are all now marketers. They're just going to send you the first email. It says the second time, pull your ass over and to respond back to me.
I'll probably be like, oh, I forgot about that. I'll do it anyway. Yes, that's the hit. The other thing is that Barnes & Noble has asked us that I always do some kind of promotion of one of their books every month. This book, Brian Buffini has actually been speaking about it in his podcast, The Richest Man in Babylon. I've actually read this book probably 3 or 4 times over the last 5 years, just because it's so good and it's very entertaining and it can change your life. And Brian Buffini actually does a great job, reads a chapter that's one of the most important chapters probably in it. So if you go to his the Brian Buffini show and you want to listen to him read a portion of it, I highly recommend him this. If you have not read this book, it is worth the read. And that is my pitch for Barnes & Noble, and it's only because I truly believe it. It's not only really educational, business-wise, that are time-tested. I mean, it's a book that's about someone way back in Babylon a couple thousand years ago, and yet the principles are in it, and they're so solid. The guy who wrote it is just brilliant in it, and it's entertaining. I highly recommend it. There are 4 copies in the whole store right here. That's what they're. So if you want one, feel free to grab it, and it's only $15. And literally, it can change your life. It changed Brian Buffini's life. He credits this book to making him a multi-millionaire today.
Now, let me ask you this, just out of curiosity. How many of you listened to that pitch and went, that sounds really good, but there's not a snowball's chance in Haiti I'm going to read that book? Be honest. Okay, okay, let me ask this, that you're not going to buy it because it's $15 or whatever reason, right? Here's the thing. You want to build an influential business? Buy the book, not for yourself. Write a note in it that just says, hey, I bought this book. I was thinking of you, and send it to the most influential person you know. It's going to cost you 18 bucks, 15 bucks for the book, $3 for postage. I promise you, you know what's going to happen? That person's going to go put on Facebook how awesome you are and that you just sent them the book. Is that worth 15 bucks? Absolutely. This is how the influential game is worked, right? Don't look at it and go, oh my gosh, the guy just pitched me, you just pitched me this book. I'm not going to read it. I will never read a book like that. I don't have that kind of time. I'm a magazine reader. Right? This is way too much attention span for me, right? But I would buy that book, and I send books to influencers all the time. You know who I send them to? The speakers, the organizers, the biggest yap jobs. Does that make sense? It's huge. So there's only 3 copies left. Buy more books. No, just don't sign the front so I can send it to somebody else. Influencers have great regifting programs, right? Yeah. Yep. So here's what Rusty, will you help me with this? Will you? So look, guys. Here, Bruce, you know the drill. So you guys. So here's the scoop. This is as close to a. Remember, I said there's going to be a $47 pitch. Here it is. We love you. Now get out. You shouldn't have showed up. I'm joking. Awesome. So she's got a really cool graphics design, plaid lizard design. Very, very cool stuff. So, so here's the deal. The top part of this, I just want to stay in touch with you. So if you don't want to come to the event, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to be hurt. I will take notes, but I'm not going to be hurt. But I love to stay in touch, and I like to send birthday cards. So that's why I asked for your birthday, the month and the day only. But give me your information. If you put your email address on here, are you going to go on my list? Okay, good. We're good. We're even. I don't send out that many emails, so that's fine. But I'll also send you that blog email or list that I was talking about, and I'll put the Zoom link in there for you guys as well. If you'd like to come to Networking Riches, it's a 1.5-day event. It's May 19th and 20th down in Sherman Oaks. It's going to teach you what events to go to, both online and offline. It teaches you the whole process, what to say. I can always tell somebody that's come to the event when I go watch some at networking events. I just watch how they behave, and I can tell you exactly who's been to the event and who hasn't. You guys came down to the event, didn't you? Yes. Good event?
Excellent. And
awesome.
It's not even, here in the marketplace that we're at, because we're online.
Yeah.
But it still has a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, we're blending a lot more online and offline stuff. I buy you breakfast. I buy you lunch. It's going to be down in Sherman Oaks. Sunday we do a mastermind. We have you all back and we do a mastermind, and it's $47. If you don't want to come live, you can come live stream it, meaning you watch on your computer. We live stream it in there. You're fully interactive with us throughout the entire day. And the best part is, if you can't make it live and you don't want to watch it live stream, doesn't really matter, because at the end, every ticket holder gets all the recordings from the event forever. So that's the deal. The only thing that is not on here is we take Visa, MasterCard, Amex. If you want to do PayPal, just give me your PayPal email address. I'll send you a PayPal link. Just click out $47. I'll even take Bitcoin if you want. Or if you're a crypto nerd, I'll take whatever crypto coin you want. Okay? Don't even get me started. But I'm not joking. If you got a little Bitcoin around and you want to get rid of it, come and invest with the Networking Riches crowd. It'll be fun. Anyways, you can just fill this out. If there's something else that I can help you with, just put it down on the bottom. I'm happy to get back in touch with you and help you. If you have comments and you thought tonight was great, you thought it could use some improvement, whatever, I love feedback. Doesn't hurt my feelings. I love feedback. If there's something I said that made sense, awesome. I'd love to hear about it. If there's something I said didn't make sense, I'd love to hear about it, because I want to make sure that you walk out of here with what you need. And if not, I'll call you on the phone and we'll talk about it. Does that make sense? Any questions? Comments?
Anybody have any questions that they're dying coming even before Casey was about
Yeah.
marketing? Because he also knows that too. I mean, you might as well ask. I mean, those YouTube tricks, we've kind of talked a little bit, but those are advanced stuff. And if you pick up on the things that were said, you know that you can tell these advanced ones. So we think
How
of that.
often do you have the time you're having them on a day? I'm thinking, why?
Must be rough.
The first time was with a real estate wholesale group with Robert Oprah.
Oh, gotcha.
The same thing.
Yep.
I was like, oh, I have to try. Oh, this date, it's impossible for me to make.
We will probably, I usually only do one a year. Last year, but you could do the recordings. And by the way, just as Orfino's gone through my entire program. Yeah. Look, we're going to talk about Facebook Lives there as well. You know, I work with Rusty, and I was like, look, dude, you got to get on and start doing Facebook Lives. And was it your first one? Second.
My third one in second week of January, and I closed it. It was a Friday and Sunday at the Golden Globe. My client, who I've known for 20 years, but my apartment manager, said, I want to talk to you. My father-in-law wants to buy a house. And I was like, I mean, lots of them.
Yeah, yeah. And so that's what we just did. We sat down and we said, look, let's come up with some Facebook Lives and what to talk about. First one up, $3 million house. It's not that hard. It's really connecting with people. So you guys, I want to first say, Chris and Steve, thank you guys. So Chris, Craig, thank you guys so much for having this, and you guys, thank you for being here. I know there's 8 trillion things you could be doing tonight, and you chose to be here. You chose. It's a little hot here in the Barnes and Noble. And you came and be here, and so I just want to thank you for being here. And I'll stick around if you have other questions. If you want to fill those forms out, if you want to hand them to Bruce, even if you don't want to go to networking or you can't come to Networking Riches, and you just want to fill that top part out, that would be awesome. Any feedback would be awesome. Thank you, guys. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for having me up. I appreciate it. Awesome. Oh, then don't touch me. Awesome, John. Good to see you as well. You got to come down to Networking Riches. We'll have a blast.
Can I email